You hit apply on another data analyst job, and now you're waiting for the email that never comes. You built out your resume, you finished your portfolio projects, you might have even reached out to a few people on LinkedIn, but still silent. If this is happening to you, here is a harsh truth. Most people waste their application phase by rushing, guessing, and hoping that something sticks. But the top candidates, the ones getting interviews at top companies, they apply differently. They know how to target, how to tailor, and how to follow up. This video is going to show you how to do exactly that without burning out. My name is Jeff. I became a data analyst over 13 years ago, worked my way up to a business analyst consultant at a Fortune 5 company where I am today. I've sat on the hiring side, I've filtered through resumes, I've helped conduct interviews, and I know exactly why some people get ignored and why others get hired. And now I know the job market is rough, so I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people break into data analytics. So if you're serious about landing your first data job, hit that subscribe button now, because this series gives you a full roadmap step by step of starting to landing your first data job. And we're entering step A, which is where we start applying. You're going to apply strategically of this epic launch system and video series, which is helping you learn data analytics and going to actually getting hired. So let's dive in. Here's why most applications fail. Let's be honest, it's not that you're not good enough. You've built your skills, you've built your portfolio, and you may have even gotten feedback from people inside the industry. But if you're still applying into a black hole, chances you're stuck in what I call a pray and spray method, where you're basically just using the same resume, no targeting, no follow-up. You just click, you hope, you pray. But the reality is this: Glassdoor says the average job gets about 250 applicants and only 4 to 6 get interviews. So this is not applying to more jobs. It's about applying smarter and getting more interviews with less effort. So let's talk about how I view this. I view it as a 3-layer job targeting method. So this is what elite candidates and how I prioritize the applications when I'm looking for a job. First, layer 1, you want to look for low-hanging fruit. These are going to be jobs that match your tech stack: Excel, SQL, Tableau, VBA, Python, and then your existing portfolio projects, also the industries and the experience that you already know. You can apply it to these in 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even shorter, with just a few resume tweaks. These are going to be your daily drivers and the daily things that you're going to be looking for. Layer 2 is going to be stretch jobs, but still plausible roles. These are going to be roles where you're missing maybe one tool: AWS, platform, Power BI, Tableau, but it's a new, also it could be a new industry, but similar to your background. And the description says nice to have for something that you're learning currently. So for these, what you're going to do is you're going to customize your cover letter to address any small gaps and position your experience as transferable so that you can address those questions early and tease out enough for them to be curious enough to bring you in for an interview. Also, what you want to do here too is tweak a portfolio project to match the industry or the problem type that is for the company that you're applying for. So an example of this is applying to a healthcare company. You can reframe, say, a generic dashboard that you have for a different industry to now a healthcare insurance claim dashboard if you're applying to a health insurance company. And then you could just modify the input data and any of the other inputs, and then the dashboard layout so it's targeted to the specific company that you're applying for, so that your portfolio piece lands harder. These roles are going to require a lot more work and light tailoring, but there's still jobs that you can apply for and get. And to be honest, this is what I did initially when I first became a business analyst at a Fortune 500 company at UHC. On the Optum side, is I didn't have the direct experience, but I had similar experience, and that was enough to get me into the role and get me interviewed and get me hired eventually. The next layer is layer 3. These are going to be your strategic dream jobs and the jobs that you really want. These are going to be the big ones. These are your roles at your top 5 companies, specialized analyst roles in your dream industries, and jobs where you don't meet every requirement just yet. But with a little bit of work, you can start working on that and push to position yourself in a place to get these roles. It's just going to take more work. So here's the play. You're going to reach out to someone on the team first, and then you're going to build and polish a niche aligned project that solves their type of business problem directly and it's going to be based on your feedback with either reaching out to the hiring manager, people on the team, and then they're going to talk directly about the various problems that they're facing. And then you're going to create a project, a solution based on that. So you want to be able to try to network, and this is why it's going to take longer. Also, what you were going to do is use that to open up the conversation to not just submit a resume, but to get to know all the people in the department, in the team, the hiring managers there to look for any open positions. These are going to be your long shots, but they are worth the effort because of how much they stretch your skills and your network, and also how much you actually want the job. These are going to be jobs that I'm willing to put in the more work into because I want to break into that industry, that company, into that role. And then next, let's talk about a simple plan so you can stay consistent without spending 3 hours a night aimlessly trying to figure out what to do on job boards. I call this the 2-3-1 method. So you're going to aim for 3 job targets per day. So choose jobs from layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and don't waste time scrolling endlessly, and go in with a filter. And then next, you're going to send out 2 custom applications sent. You're going to customize your resume header, the first bullet or a couple of bullets, and then your project section to reflect that job specifically. If it's going to take longer for layer 2, layer 3 jobs, then you're just going to keep doing this and schedule it out so that you have 2 custom applications every day, or the days that you can dedicate to your job search. And then with each of these applications, you're also going to send a brief personal message to either the external recruiter, the internal recruiter, or the hiring manager, letting them know, giving them a quick intro, also introducing projects and anything that they might be interested that solves problems for that department. And then also you can lead in with your resume, your portfolio, and attach other things to follow up on you already submitting your application. So it's a multi-tiered follow-up after you send in those applications. And then finally, though, you're going to send one network message follow up. You're either going to follow up on an old application that you haven't heard anything from. You're either going to send in a thank you to someone who gave you feedback or gave you a referral or introduction, or just message someone from a layer 3 company with a mini insight from your portfolio, or other ways of reaching out to expand your network to better set you up to get to those roles. So even if you only do this 3 days a week, that's 6 applications, 3 warm touches, and that's going to be leverage that you can scale over time and eventually get you hired. Next, make sure that you're adjusting each of the various assets that you're sending over specifically for this company. It doesn't have to be massive changes, just has to be targeted in the right areas. So make sure that you attach your resume, use what you learned from the previous videos where we talked about CAT, which is adding the context, your action, and then translate it to business value, and then tailor your tech stack, your business outcomes, your achievements specifically to this role in your resume and in your cover letter, and then anything else that you're sending over, like your portfolio projects as well. Next, I mentioned this earlier, send a short message on LinkedIn. Here is a template that you can use and then just modify this for your own words. Hi, insert their name. I just applied for, insert the job title. I built a project recently related to insert this problem that their department that they're specifically facing, and I would love to contribute to, and then insert their company. This way it's catered and it's not just a plug and play message that you send to everyone. Even though it's templatized, you can still show that you've done your research. Then next I would add in, here's a quick summary in my resume, would love to connect best, and then add your name. Then on your header or your outro, what you want to do is have your name, but put in data analyst, then have attach your resume, a profile link, and then also a link to your online portfolio or LinkedIn as well. And then lastly, follow up in 5 to 7 days. Don't assume that silence means rejection. Send a friendly nudge because most people don't. And that's going to be your edge. Just friendly, persistent follow up where you're being friendly but not annoying and spamming. Now that you have a system for applying smarter, here is where the real unlock happens. What if you could uncover jobs before they're even posted? What if hiring managers came to you instead of you chasing job boards? Here is what we're going to be covering in the next step, which is the Unlock Hidden Opportunities video, where we're going to tap into the hidden real job market, get interviews before the competition even sees the postings. If you missed out any of the previous videos in this series of how to become a data analyst, click the playlist here and catch up now. And see you in the next video. And until next time, query responsibly. And watch this video now.